Hello everyone and welcome to the hands-on demo on Amazon MemoryDB for Redis. So there are two services, MemoryDB for Redis, which is a primary database. It is a durable and persistent storage. And we also have Elastic Cache for Redis, but this is cache layer only and this offers fast temporary storage. This cannot be used as a primary database, so it must be used with some other like RDS database or DynamoDB, but this can be used by itself. So in this demo, we will set up networking infrastructure like VPC and security groups. We'll create a MemoryDB subnet group. We'll deploy a MemoryDB cluster with multi-AZ configuration. We'll configure parameter groups for optimal performance. We'll connect to the cluster using EC2 instance. Then we'll interact with MemoryDB using CLI and Python program. Finally, we'll clean up all the resources. So step 1, we'll go to Amazon MemoryDB and we'll create a VPC. So I have logged into AWS console home. I will search for MemoryDB. Click on Amazon MemoryDB. So this is the welcome screen. If you click on get started, the first option is to create a VPC and this will open automatically in a new tab. So we'll create a VPC dedicated for MemoryDB. I will call this MemoryDB demo. And this will have a IPv4 CIDR block as 10.0.0.0/16. So VPC and more. Paste the name MemoryDB demo and CIDR block is default. No IPv6 CIDR block. Number of availability zones 2 and number of public subnets 2. Number of private subnet 2 and NAT gateways, you can say 1 per AZ and VPC endpoint none, and keep this default 2 options, enable DNS host names and DNS resolution and any additional tags. So let me just verify all the settings. So number of availability zones 2 public subnets and 2 private, so there will be 2 in each AZs and there will be 1 NAT gateway for every AZ and no VPC endpoints. And click on create VPC. So let me just bring it here and create VPC. So this will go ahead and create the VPC. So meanwhile, we'll proceed with the next steps. So after the VPC is created, we'll check out the default security group that was created in the VPC that we just created. So let me just go and check how is the situation. Okay, so this is going on. After the VPC is created, we'll create a subnet group. So I just come here and you will see on the left hand side subnet groups. So click on subnet groups, create subnet group, and this particular subnet group we can call MemoryDB demo subnet group. So I'll copy the name and provide an optional description. So I'll just call this as subnet group for MemoryDB demo cluster. And then I have to select the VPC which I just created. So I come here. So this subnet group will reside in this particular demo VPC, and there's a default VPC also, but we will pick up the dedicated VPC for this. And then we have to select the subnets. So in this case, we will select the 2 private subnets that was created as part of the VPC. So if we come here and this is creating subnets, and so let me just click here and this will show me whether it's a private or public subnet. So I'll click all 4 of it. So this one, if I check out here, so this one is, I will just come here. So this one, the IP will be same. So 10.0.1.1.14.44 and 0.20. And if I check out this one, so this one in the name they will mention. So this is private 2. So just let me expand. And this one is the private 1 in US East 1A. So I have to set these 2. So I come to the subnet group and I'll say manage. So this will show the subnet groups. So I can pick these 2 ones. So US East 1A and 1B. So this can be seen from here. So B906 and D505. So these are the ones, and click choose. So this subnet group will be will span these two availability zones, and you can click on create. So I'll close these two tabs, and these are our two private subnets. And this VPC is created. I can click on view VPC. Okay, the subnet group was created successfully. Next step is so we have selected the two subnet groups as we have seen, and this is subnet group confirmation. Now we'll create a MemoryDB parameter group. So parameter group is how you can control the MemoryDB settings. So there will be default MemoryDB parameter groups, but we'll create our custom MemoryDB parameter group. So I'll copy the name and let me expand this, and under subnet groups is parameter groups. Click on create. You can provide an optional description and select the engine. So we will choose the MemoryDB Redis 7. So MemoryDB Redis 7 and click on create. So after you create, you can modify the settings. So this is the MemoryDB demo params, and we'll modify two settings. So in this demo, I want to show how to modify the settings or create our own parameter group. So we'll create this particular max memory policy. We'll change the there is a value like evicts least recently used keys. So there are other settings also. It will show up in the drop down, and we'll modify it to be this value. So max memory policy. So it will show up, and click on edit and paste. So by default, it's no eviction. That means it will never evict the keys from the cache, not the cache, but the MemoryDB database. But we will choose all keys and least recently used. All keys least recently used. And next setting that we will modify will be timeout. So once you have made the change, make sure you save it. And now click on edit once again and search for timeout. And timeout value we are giving. So by default it's 0. We are changing it to 300. Once you have entered 300, save changes. So this is how we create and modify a parameter group. So once those two settings are done, we will create the cluster. So come here, and I'll open this in a new tab also, because later on I will clean up all the resources. So let me close this, and now we'll create the cluster. So I'll just move it here and click on create cluster. So we'll say single region cluster. We'll say easy create, and we'll say demo and name of a cluster. So MemoryDB demo cluster. And I'll provide a description. And engine, I'll select the Redis, because we have created also parameter group which is based on Redis engine. Next, with the connectivity part. So for the connectivity, we'll select the two private subnet. So this MemoryDB will be residing in the private subnet. So choose existing subnet group. So that's why we created the subnet group. So this is how we control which subnet or which private subnets or public subnet it is part of. So it is automatically pick up the subnets which are part of VPC, and you can enable vector search if you want. These are the default settings which came from parameter group, and any tags. So these are all the settings. So let me just verify and click on create. So this will start the cluster creation process. And if I just refresh, I'll just close all these pop-ups. So this is creating. Meanwhile, we'll go ahead and create a SSM role for EC2 because we'll use EC2 to log into or connect to our MemoryDB, and we'll use the system sessions manager. So I come here, I'll search for IAM. I'll open IAM also in a new tab. I'll move it here. Roles, create role, EC2, next, and there is a permissions policy that will allow it to communicate with sessions manager. So I'll copy the name of permissions policy, set the permissions policy and click on next and provide the role name. So I'll call it SSM instance role, and this allows EC2 instances to call AWS services on your behalf. And this is the permissions policy that I have attached. Click on create role. So role got created. Let me just click on view role. Now I will launch an EC2. So open EC2 also in a new instance, in a new tab, sorry. And I just call this machine MemoryDB client. Click on launch instance on the EC2 page. And we choose the Amazon Linux AMI default, the latest one, and whatever T3 micro, which is free tier eligible. And keep here I don't need because I will be using systems manager service. And network, select existing. Okay, so I have to change the VPC because our VPC is different. So this is default, and I need to make sure that I am in the right VPC. And I can also place the VPC in the private subnet. So I just move this from public to private subnet and auto assign public IP because it's private subnet. It's not, you cannot enable it. And select existing security group, and I will choose the default security group which is there in this particular VPC that we have created. So this particular demo VPC. So this is important setting. So VPC, make sure VPC is correct, and make sure you have selected private subnet, and you select the existing security group which is default in this particular VPC, right? And there's nothing to be changed here, and you scroll down under advanced details. This is the important part. IAM instance profile. Choose the SSM instance role that we have just created. So that's all. If you just scroll down, you can launch this instance. So this will go ahead and launch the instance. So you can click on instances and let it come in the available state. So we have done all this. So once it's ready, we'll use the session manager to connect to our EC2, and then we'll continue with the next set of steps like installing. First, we'll just do a DNF update, and then we'll install Redis CLI command, Redis 6 CLI specifically, and then we'll make sure whether we can check out whether this binary shows the version. Then we'll use the endpoint which is given by MemoryDB, and we'll connect to MemoryDB using the Redis 6 CLI. So let me just refresh, and I need the cluster also. So I move it here. So this is also creating, and this is also. So once this is ready, I'll just pause the video now, and I'll resume once these two are ready. Okay, so after around 10 minutes, the MemoryDB cluster is ready. So I'll just click on it, and I'll find out the endpoint. So the endpoint will be here, cluster endpoint. And the EC2 instance is also ready. So let me just refresh. And I can now click this one and click on connect. And you will be landed on the session manager tab and click on connect. So this will open a session manager window. So first thing we have to do is to install the Redis 6 CLI. So I'll copy the whole snippet. I'll move it here and let me just zoom in. Okay, so paste it. So this will install the Redis 6 CLI. And the next part is to set up the endpoint. So copy the snippet endpoint, paste, and after the equal to sign, take the cluster endpoint and paste. Next, we'll try to connect. Okay, so I have to remove because in the endpoint there is a port. So just let me remove this. And now I try it. So as you can see, I have logged into the MemoryDB cluster. Okay, next we will so we'll test some basic operations like setting a key. So this is the key session colon user 123, and there's a JSON information. So in Redis database, everything is based on some kind of key, and we retrieve items using the key. So I have set a, let's press enter. So this will set up key and some data, and if you want to get information, we can get based on the key. Okay, so this will display all the information that was part of the, so it is just, okay, it's not taking the comments correctly, so I'll just copy the text. And I think that happened with the previous command also, so let me just pick the exact text. So I have set, and now let me just fetch the information. So as you can see, I am able to retrieve the data. Next, we create a key with automatic expiration after 1800 seconds, which is 30 minutes for session timeout. So we are setting a session. So this is slightly different because we are setting the expiration also. So the command is set x. And we'll get acknowledgement like OK. And we can check out the what is the time to live left. So I'll copy it, and so it is reducing, right? So this was setting this time total around, right? So it from 1800 seconds after I ran this, it 14 seconds which have passed between this and this. So let me, if I rerun it, so as you can see, this key is valid for, this session is valid for around 30 minutes. And this is next we'll check out the Redis hash data structure to store multiple user attributes efficiently. So so we have seen set, and we have setx command. Then we have this hset, which will whatever data we are giving, it will make a hash, and we get using the hash hgetAll command. So I'll paste it. So this is bit efficient because it will create a hash of this particular key, and then we retrieve item based on the hash value. But this we don't have to know, but this is internally how it is stored. So from this information, Alice and email, all those things. So this is how it will show up. Next, we can push user IDs to a list to track recent login activity in chronological order. So this is also possible. So this we are doing a list push recent login. So this is the key, and it would this order will be maintained. So I'll copy the exact command and run this. So this will give how many we have pushed, so it is around 3. And now we'll try to retrieve, and we use the L range command. So this will so this is how we'll get back in the from most last pushed from, so last in first out kind of. So we retrieve the data like this. And next is set a test key to verify data persistence through cluster failover event. So if you want some persistent data to be set, so this is the key and any value. So the data that we send can be anything. It can be string or it can be format like this. And this is how the format will look like. So this is all CLI based command. Now we'll create a Python program and we'll check out the APIs through Python as well. So do a install of Python 3 and Python 3 pip and pip3 install Redis. So that is the Redis library for. Okay, so let me just take it one by one. Okay, so I'm in still, sorry, I have to just exit it out. My bad. So okay, now I have exited. Now I can, because I was still in the Redis shell, that's why that issue came. Now I will install the Python library for Redis. So this will install the Python library. Okay, next we'll create this program. So let me just run you through. So we'll invoke this by using Python 3 and the name of the file. So this is the name of the file, test memorydb.py, and we'll provide the cluster endpoint. Next, we'll configure the Redis client. So we are using this R Redis library, right? So R redis.redis, and this is how we create a connection object to the Redis MemoryDB. Next, we'll do a ping test whether we can connect to MemoryDB cluster or not, and this is some exception handling. Then this method will be called by our main program, which will be down, and this will create a session with user ID, username, and it will persist this data and some login time. So this is the information, like it looks like a JSON object, and then this session data will be set up here. So session user ID, whatever was sent, and we are again 30-minute expiration, what we have seen through the CLI, and this whole object, right? So we are setting it here, session data. So session created for the username. Next, get session, then we'll retrieve the session. So first we'll set the session, so we can just call it create session or set session, and then we'll retrieve the session based on the user ID. And the reason why I'm talking so much about session, because this is the primary use case for this kind of like Elasticache and MemoryDB. Usually we store the session data because it's very easy to like we need it for quick retrieval and all. Next, we'll just recreate the session. So this is how I just invoke create session. So this will call this method here, right? Create session, and then we get session, this particular method. So this is we have already entered in the main part of our program. Then we'll test the TTL, time to live. And lastly, we have what we have seen, like this will survive a failover. So if we send something like persistent data, and again, this is for as I talked about, hash set. So we are calling the hset command, and then the recent logins. So list push, and the active users. So add active users, and lastly, all this will print out all tests completed successfully. So what I can do, I can copy the whole snippet, come here, paste and enter. Okay, permission denied. So what I have to do is, let me check my ID. So I have logged in as SSM user. So if I do a pwd, so I'm in user bin. So this is at this directory, it's not allowed. So I can cd space tilde. Now you can see I have changed to home directory, and now I will paste that same command, and now you can see this file is created. Next, we'll run the Python script using Python 3 test MemoryDB, py, and endpoint. So I have to set the endpoint first. Let me check if endpoint variable is still there or not. So okay, so we can see endpoint is still there. So I can run this command as it is. So this ran successfully. So successfully connected to the MemoryDB cluster. Then it tested session management feature, session created for Alice, and the session was retrieved with the data. This is a JSON data structure. Then testing cache with the TTL, time to live. So we have set 300 seconds. Persistent data stored. Testing Redis data structures, hash created for this information, and list created, set created with 3 members, all test completed successfully. So this is just a screenshot of the successful test which we have conducted before. And finally, we can clean up all the objects that we have created. So first is to create the MemoryDB cluster. So here you can just close this window. We don't need any more. So come to cluster details. Let me just zoom out. And I am on the MemoryDB cluster page. And I can just click delete. So no need for snapshot. And click on delete. So the cluster deletion was initiated successfully. Next is to delete the EC2 instance. So come to the EC2 page and select the EC2 instance state and terminate, and click on terminate delete, and just refresh. It should go into shutting down state. Okay, next is to delete the subnet group. So come to the cluster MemoryDB clusters and expand here, subnet groups. Select the subnet group and click on delete. Then click delete again. Okay, so the cluster is being deleted. So if I just come to clusters and refresh the screen, so now it is in deleting state. So I'll just pause the video because after this I have to delete the VPC also. And once the cluster is deleted, I'll be able to delete all the remaining objects. Okay, so after around 10 minutes, the cluster got deleted. So now I can go to subnet groups and delete the MemoryDB demo subnet group. Click on delete. Okay, subnet group got deleted. Next, I can delete the parameter group also. So I come to parameter groups and MemoryDB demo params. Click on delete. Okay, next step is to delete the VPC. So I go to the VPC. I can close these two subnets and actions and delete VPC. So now still there are 2 NAT gateways which I can. So I can click on NAT gateways. So this will just make it faster. So I can select one of them and delete NAT gateway. So this is deleting. I'll select the other one, actions. Okay, so this is also now deleting. Now if I go to VPCs and I set the MemoryDB demo VPC and click on delete VPC. So let me just wait for few minutes more and then it should be also ready for deletion. Okay, now I can delete the VPC. So I just waited for a minute or two. Then delete the VPC. So this will delete everything like NAT gateways, which has already deleted, but other things like security groups and all. and I can delete the role also. So I'll just come to SSM instance role and click on delete. So the role got deleted and VPC already got deleted, and that's all. Thanks for watching.